The Polyglot Gathering is organized by Education at Internet.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you had a nice break and are ready for the first talk after the lunch today from team Tandem. And about myself first, I'm Katie, product manager of Tandem. I manage the discovery and development of new features that help create meaningful and quality experience for language practitioners around the world. And actually, it's my first time at Polyglot Gathering this year, and already I can feel a lot of passion, enthusiasm, and inspiration from all of you guys. And which flavor will we add to the menu today? Well, it would be a touch of AI. Yeah, you heard it right, it's artificial intelligence, but blending with human connection in order to elevate the language experience and make it even more engaging, effective, and intuitive. And joining me today are my colleagues, Michelle and Tobias.
Hello, also from my side. I'm Michelle. I'm a language education specialist at Tandem, and I apply my knowledge and expertise about languages in different projects, like organizing live language events online in the app, as well as offline in the real world. And I'm also a co-host for our new Tandem podcast, which is called Connected by Language.
Hi, and I'm Tobias. I'm co-founder of Tandem. And yeah, before we dive into the topic today, artificial meets human intelligence, I want to give a brief overview of what Tandem is and does for everyone who hasn't heard about Tandem yet. So Tandem is a language learning community which has more than 30 million members all around the world. You can practice 300 different languages on Tandem with others, which leads to more than 4,500 combinations of languages practiced every week on Tandem. And this map shows the countries where our community has most members. In the Americas, that's the US, Mexico, and Brazil. In Europe, it's Germany, France, and Italy. And then Turkey, Russia, China, and Japan. And how does it work? You just have to download the Tandem app from the App Store or Play Store, create an account, tell us which languages you learn and which ones you speak. And then we show you suggestions for language exchange partners who speak a language you learn and learn a language you speak. And then we offer different formats to practice. We have live audio rooms that we call language parties, or you can just jump into a chat experience with a potential partner. And that looks pretty much like WhatsApp or any other messenger with some special language learning features. You can correct each other's messages, for example. You can translate them. And we also have some features that use AI, which leads us to the topic of today. But I want to start with zooming out a bit and give a brief overview over how AI entered the language learning space over the last 10 years or so. So what does it take to learn a language? It needs motivation, it needs comprehensible input, practice, especially speaking practice, be aware of the cultural context, and that's what we're promoting at Tandem, specifically human connection. Not only because most people learn a language because they want to connect to other humans, but also because human connection has all kinds of benefits in the language acquisition process, like emotional bonds, helping to anchor memory, for example. So how and when did AI enter this picture? In 2015, apps like Duolingo is probably the primary example, but also other language learning apps using similar approaches used or started to use AI, or more accurately machine learning, to present you with exercises and quizzes that are adapted to your difficulty level. To present you with challenges that are not too difficult for you, so you would give up, that are not too easy, so it would get boring, but that keep you engaged, keep you making progress without ever really having to leave your comfort zone. When it comes to comprehensible input in 2017, neural machine translation became a thing with Google Translate, or also apps like DeepL or products like DeepL. And that was a step change in the quality of translations and made it possible to translate any real-life text on any level into any language to create comprehensible input. Then in 2018, speech recognition with products like Elsa Speak entered the stage. They made it possible to have simple conversations and in real time get feedback and coaching on your pronunciation. Then, of course, came 2022 and generative AI in the fall of 2022, ChatGPT. And with ChatGPT, it was not only possible to translate, but actually create any kind of content on any level in any language that would suit as comprehensible input. And also for the first time, cultural context or simulating cultural awareness was possible. So ChatGPT could, with ChatGPT, you could talk to or role play with characters that you could give a different cultural background. It could teach you cultural nuance, use slang, or use cultural references. Another step change in speaking practice came in 2024 when ChatGPT launched advanced voice mode or other companies' similar products, and it was for the first time possible to have an actual natural conversation with AI. Now, how about the human connection part? This hasn't quite been disrupted yet by AI. I mean, AI or avatars can simulate empathy. They can pretend that they truly care about you, but obviously they don't really do. And there's a bit of a question if they will ever be able to convince you that they do, and you would be able to feel a similar connection to an AI that you feel to a human being. At Tandem, when we launched our first features and started to work on them last year, we decided not to focus on, for those reasons, replacing a human in a language exchange, but rather build features with AI that help fostering a connection between two humans. And yeah, with that, I will hand it over to Michelle.
Thank you. So, let's talk about the essence of language exchange. Most of you will know that a language exchange is a mutual partnership between two people helping each other learning their native languages. And it comes in many forms. So the most traditional one is probably having a pen pal. So you're sending a letter to somebody in your target language. Let's say I learn French, so I send a letter in French to somebody in France or the French-speaking countries in the world, and they will send me a letter in German back because they're practicing German. Then we have the face-to-face meetings. So you can meet with people who live close to you and get matched with somebody, for example, through a university program, and then you can exchange languages with them. And then there are also conversational meetups. It's usually groups. You don't have to have a language exchange partner, but you just go to this meetup and you can speak the languages you like, very similar to what we have here at the Polyglot gathering. And then we have also the Tandem app, which actually unites all these three kinds of language exchanges. The chat experience we have is probably like a modern version of the pen pal. Then also our video calls or meeting people in person comes close to this face-to-face experience. And our language parties in the app, which are live audio rooms, come very close to the meetup experience. And even though the Tandem app brought something digital here to the place, it's still the human connection and the genuine connections that are very relevant for this language exchange. And they bring a lot of benefits too. For example, authentic communication, like having a real conversation with somebody. You will learn about dialects, about slang words, and you also get immediate feedback. So if you make a mistake, your language exchange partner can then help you with your mistakes and correct them. And you could argue now, well, those two things, you also get them from a chatbot with AI. You can have a natural conversation with them. They can correct your mistakes. Yes, that's true, but think about that there's more to it. Language exchange is not only academic language learning, but it also fosters empathy, cultural understanding, and friendship. So this is usually nothing you get with a chatbot. then you also have a boost of your motivation when you have a real conversation with somebody in their native language. Imagine traveling there and being able to order a beer, for example, in their native language, in your target language. So that gives you a lot of confidence as well, a big confidence boost. And those shared experiences you have with your language exchange partner will also stay in your emotional memory, which helps you retain the language further. So in my daily work, I am actually in touch with Tandem members all the time, and they tell me about their struggles in language exchange. Those of you who have had language exchanges might recognize some of them. And we thought about, well, how can AI maybe help us with those struggles? So Katie will tell us a bit more about it.
Yes, so our approach at Tandem is to enhance the user experience through thoughtful AI integration. These two aspects will go hand in hand with each other because we don't just develop AI features as a trend because it's a hype everywhere in the world, but because we think AI can help us solve the real user challenges. So let's go through each of the challenges and see how we can address them with our AI-powered features.
So the first set of challenges we identified are navigating communication barriers. And the very first one is actually understanding audio messages. So who has ever had a problem with understanding an audio message in a foreign language? Just raise your hands. Okay, yeah. That's about half of the room. And this is basically because they use vocabulary you don't know yet, or they speak too fast, or they speak in a dialect that you just don't understand. So we thought, how can AI help us with this challenge?
Yep. So let's take a specific example so you can understand what we are talking about in details. So imagine this is my conversation with the chat partner Amy on Tandem. I'm practicing German, so my German is still very basic. And as you see in the conversation, we were discussing about Christmas market in Germany. And when I asked her which Christmas market she would be visiting next, Amy replied to me in an audio message. And because my knowledge of German is not that advanced, so even though I keep replaying it at a slower speed, 0.5s, but still I couldn't understand her. So what could I do here? And that's where the transcribe feature can help you. And the AI will give me a transcript of what Amy said in German. And when I play the audio, the transcript will also run in sync with the voice, so I can follow the progress. And what if I can still not get some of the word because it's too advanced or it's difficult vocab? Then I can further leverage the translate feature on Tandem and get it translated to a language that I'm more fluent in with the English. So now, as you can see, I can easily understand her message and then reply to her.
So the next challenge is that you have gathered all of your confidence now to write a message in your target language, fully in your target language. You don't want to use your own native language anymore. But then you have almost built a sentence, but you are missing this one specific word. So missing vocabulary is also a very big challenge, I think, in every level of your practicing languages. And we also thought about how can we integrate a good solution into the app to help you out with that challenge.
Yep, so let's continue with the example of my chat with the partner on Tandem, Amy. And this time, I want to continue our conversation by saying, by the way, yesterday I just found a new coffee shop, but I don't know what is the German word found is to finish my sentence. And sometimes it's just one word, but it's very annoying, and we cannot finish our message and what we want to say and send it out to the partner. So what I can do here is to use the word finder feature on Tandem. Just tap on it and type the English word that I know, which I found, and then AI will return several options for me in my learning language, which is German, and with some hint, so I can understand which one is the most suitable one. And in this case, gefunden, the past participle form, or finden, seem to be matching the most. So I just pick it and send it to Amy.
And the last one in this same set is sounding more natural. So you have figured out now how to write your message in your target language, but you might have just translated it from your own native language and you don't have that like natural tone yet. So maybe you also want to change the mood or the tone of your message. So here there's also a solution to that.
Yep. So this is where our rewrite feature can help you. Let's take another example of the same sentence. Übrigens habe ich gestern ein neues Café gefunden. Es hat sehr leckeren Matcha Latte. But I don't want to stick to such a basic and simple style of writing. So I want something different. And with rewrite, I can make it more casual, more advanced, or even I can add some humor to it onto my text. And with these rewrite features, it gives us the freedom to express our thought in a way that reflects our personality and also the mood and tone when we are writing it without being limited to our knowledge base.
Then there's another set of challenges we identified, which is all about making mistakes. And you know, when you're learning a new language, you need to make mistakes to actually be able to learn. But some of us are a bit more shy or don't want to send out wrong messages. So we want to ensure that our messages are correct before sending them. Maybe some of you know that feeling. You can raise your hands. I'm actually one of the person I would rather like learn in front up my mistakes and not make them. Yes, I can see hands here. So there is also a solution to that, I guess, Katie.
Yeah, that's true, because I'm a live evidence of that. So as I mentioned, I'm just a beginner in German, so I still make a lot of mistakes here and there. So let's continue with the message that we discussed earlier. But I want to ensure that before sending it out to Amy, my chat partner, I want that is mistake-free, so I don't get embarrassed when sending it out to her a lot of messiness in my message. So what I can do is I can double-check it with grammar check feature, and the AI will review my message, as you can see on the screen, and it will correct all of the mistake that I made and read it in the green and red colors. And it even explains the rule behind, so I can also learn the grammar from AI.
And let's assume now that I was super confident that my message is actually correct, and I already send it out, and then I get the correction by my language exchange partner. So apparently it was not correct, but I really don't know why. I don't understand why he or she corrected me. So I cannot ask them every time. Maybe they don't even know how to explain in their own native language. So there's another way to find out why I made those mistakes.
For sure. I don't want to ask Amy every time she's correct me either. It's kind of annoying. So, but it's good that I can ask AI to explain the correction to me. As you can see on the screen, it will point out what I did wrong and what is the grammar rule behind. And this is kind of the new knowledge for me. And in this way, I can even remember the mistake more deeply rather than just getting the correction without knowing why. So I will remember it and won't repeat it the next time. But are these all of the challenges that you get to hear about from the users? And is there any other challenges that you heard about, Michelle?
Actually, yes, there's one last set that we identified, which is about the conversational flow. So it's a typical problem, actually, starting a new conversation. Who of you had ever had trouble with starting a new conversation? Yeah, okay. That's about a third of the room. I think everybody knows that feeling a bit. So yeah, here also you don't want to like be boring, or you want to send a really interesting message to your potential new language exchange partner. You don't want to talk about the usual small talk, just send a hi or where you're from, because they might not answer you on that. So we thought about a solution how to help us in this case.
Yes, that's a very tough problem. And for this specific scenario, we developed the Inspire feature on Tandem to help you overcome the first moment when starting a new conversation. For example, one day I saw Ella profile on Tandem, and she's learning English. That's perfect. That's something I can offer. And her profile also looked interesting. She said that she's love movie. She also mentioned Game of Thrones in her profile, and she's living in San Diego. But I don't even know how I can start a conversation with her. But it's good that I can ask Inspire to help me out here. And with the Inspire features, it will come up with a lot of different ideas, and based on the information from our profile, not just some random stuff. So as you can see here, the first option is talk about Game of Thrones. Then the second option is ask for recommendation for movie. And the third option is ask for a favorite spot to watch movie in San Diego, where my partner lives. So all of these are very personalized and customized to the person we want to talk to make sure it's relevant. And what if you don't understand the difficult word in the suggestion, you can also further leverage the translate features in the feature.
So we're coming to the absolute end game here. So you've had a successful conversation with your language exchange partner, maybe for a whole day or several weeks or month, and then you are like kind of running out of ideas what to talk about. You've talked about all of your interests, about your traveling, food, all you can think of. So yeah, this is really like the last challenge you have here in a conversation, so maybe AI can help us with that too.
For sure. This time, also with the Inspire feature, but AI will based on the recent conversation between us and our chat partner to come up with the ideas of how to follow up with the conversation. So let's go specifically into my conversation with Ella. We were discussing about movies. And when Ella told me that she just watched a thriller that had her on the edge of her seat, but I ran out of idea how to reply to her. What should I do? So I will just use the Inspire features, and it will take the recent message in our conversation and then come up with relevant idea, how I should follow up. And among these options, I read it through and evaluate it myself, so to make sure I make the right choice. And the first option is my most favorite, would respond directly. Oh my God, I love thriller. What's the one that you just watched? So I just pick it and send it to Ella, then problem solved.
And what we've learned along the process is actually that AI is an enabler for language exchange. So you still have the two human beings, they're not replaced, but your exchange experience is just a bit better because of AI. And it's also a good assistant. So every time maybe your language exchange partner is not a real language teacher, you can ask AI about the details of the language.
Yeah, so all of these features are actually live and available on Tandem. You just need a Tandem Pro subscription, and we're very happy that they resonate very well with our users and our community. But yeah, AI as a technology is of course still in its infancy. It's quite limited in what it can do nowadays, and we wanted to conclude this talk by also looking a bit into the future of AI-powered language exchange and what might be possible in a few months or years from now. Basically, every single day there's progress and there's new things released. And this is the first idea we're actually already working on, which is the idea of using AI to prepare someone for a language exchange. Language exchange really only makes sense from around level A2 on, but a lot of people download Tandem and create an account who are total beginners in a language, and then they struggle to get any value out of language exchanges. And here the idea is to create some kind of language gym that specifically prepares you for a language exchange, teaches you dialogues around topics like how to introduce myself, how to talk about my interest, these typical language exchange topics. And not only prepare one person for a language exchange with someone else, but prepare two people to eventually have a language exchange with each other. Then in the next step, AI could also help to facilitate a language exchange in a chat, in a video call, or even as a co-host in our live audio rooms, the language parties. Just nudge on the conversation, chime in with suggestions and corrections. Yeah, or maybe everything we just talked about this importance of human connection is just kind of romantic, human-centered, wishful thinking. And in a few years from now, when we're all going to have our AI boyfriends and girlfriends and housekeepers and teachers, we're also going to have our AI language exchange partner, who will always be available for us, who will perfectly correct all our mistakes, who has the exact same interests like us, and we don't even have to do a language exchange. We can just practice our target language all of the time, which seems just so much more efficient. Or maybe it's all about that my language exchange partner isn't constantly available, that I'm anxiously waiting for them to answer my messages, and then the excitement when I finally receive an answer. Maybe it's about the human imperfection that makes it relatable. Maybe someone even interests me in new topics that I haven't heard of before. And maybe it's also about, feeling good about myself, that I'm helping someone else with their language. Many questions. Do you have any? Can I put the Slido up? Yeah, I see. Okay, let's maybe place ourselves somewhere over here. So, is there a quick way to block users who are being inappropriate or disruptive? Yes, there is. In any chat, on any profile, you find a block button. You can also report people, and then we have a community team 24/7 that reacts on these reports and warns people or removes them from the app. Questions in?
Not so much a question, but I'm a vibe coder, and I think the way that you've integrated this from the back end to the app is absolutely brilliant. I'm probably going to push back a little bit on the human connection. I think over time what we're going to see, especially with the younger generation, it's going to be people interacting with AI agents more and more. If you think that social media has destroyed the social skills of Gen Z, just you wait to see what's coming.
Yeah, that's absolutely a possible scenario. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. What is being done to address data privacy? Are all messages read by AI? So we are using technology of third-party providers. We are using both Gemini by Google, but also OpenAI's technology. And the messages that we send to them to then come back with the AI replies are not used as training data. And of course, we are also GDPR compliant. So the answer is yes, the messages are safe and they are not shared with AI as training data. And we are not developing our own models, so that also answers the question that we are not using them as training data. Is there a free version of Tandem? If so, what features does it include? Somebody wants to take this question?
So of course, we are a freemium product. So of course, the free users are a large part of Tandem, and you can use a lot of features with the free user account. Like for example, you can still text with your chat partner, but without the AI features, of course. In the future, we might experiment giving a few free users for the AI feature for free users, but it's something coming. And apart from text message, you can also join the club to discuss with people. And also one important feature of Tandem is the live parties, where you can go there and practice listening and speaking to real people in different languages and with different topic. So that's pretty much. Did I miss anything?
Yep, I think that was a great overview. What's this next question? Where's the place to get an AI girlfriend? Asking for my friend. I think you just have to ask AI, and AI will tell you. What's the most growing market for your app? So last year, our fastest growing market was Indonesia and also the Philippines. So Southeast Asia is the market that's been growing fastest for us in recent months. Desktop version, yes, we have a browser version as well. So if you prefer to have a desktop experience and use your own keyboard to chat, you can do this at tandem.net in our browser version. Yeah?
So I wanted to share my experience about language learning. I have an issue of my eyesight, so at the beginning of language learning, like you want to read a lot of text probably because reading is easier, which I couldn't do. So what I would do with the Tandem partners, I would ask them to translate word for word certain sentences. And the availability would be the biggest issue, right? Because it's a really time-consuming thing. So these days we can do it with the AI. So I would probably dedicate most of my time to the language exchange, while this, I think what the Luca Lamparello called bidirectional translation method. This time I can do it on my own with the AI. Since I can't read the text with my eyes, it just pronounces the text to me and I listen to it and I somehow code it in my memory, you know what I mean? And the AI does it to me. So I'm telling them, please tell I woke up at 5 a.m. in Turkish to me, and say this sentence first in English, then in Turkish, and then translate it word for word. And if I would do it with a partner, that would consume a lot of time. So I can kind of jump over this problem by using the AI and just use the remaining time and the availability of the partner to actually try to connect. So let's say for the people who have some physical limits like me, it's really useful to use the AI, which I don't think should mean that we should not bother each other sometimes, just to spark some connection and interaction, which is, interacting with human beings sometimes means that you need to be bothered, so yeah.
I think it's actually a good point that you mentioned here, because it's like preparing yourself for the language exchange. You just said you're not replacing it, but you do some of the parts that maybe need more efficiency without the language exchange partner, but just with the AI, and then still bother your language exchange partner for having the experience. So I think that's a good combination how to deal with it.
Yeah, next question, if we still have time. Has the Tandem, okay. Do you think AI chatbots will largely replace online human language interactions for language learning? I mean, that was what our talk was about, so I would invite you to take your own conclusions from it. Yeah, the talk was supposed to make you think about exactly that question. Has the Tandem parties increased the amount of people who use the app? Yes, quite considerably. It's a very well-received feature. There are usually around 100 or so of these language parties online where you can practice languages in a group scenario, or just listen in if you don't want to practice speaking yourself. Do you see any regional differences in terms of the usage of AI features or the app use in general? Oh yeah, I could dive quite deeply into this, but don't even know where to start. There's definitely countries where, for example, language parties and live formats are more popular. There are other countries where people prefer more asynchronous chat experience. In terms of the AI features, I wouldn't say there are big regional differences. They are used across the board by people from different countries and parts of the world. In an app that uses AI, what trends have been identified in AI and human interaction since the application's launch? Well, what we can definitely say from all of the features that we presented today, I don't know if anyone wants to have a guess which is the feature that's most used and most used. Yeah, I will. Yeah, it's also used, but the most used one is this grammar check feature. It's this feature that ties into this more like social dynamic that I don't want to send out a message to someone not being 100% sure that it's correct. This is by far the most used one. Yeah. How can I show to others that I want to practice more than one language? Previously it was possible, right now it is limited. You can actually still show it. It's true that we used to have the ability to show up to 8 languages as learning languages on the app. Now we moved it that you need a pro subscription, and then you can even show up to 10, but you need a pro subscription from now on to show more than one language. This was introduced to focus the community more and also to make Tandem a sustainable business. Does your app integrate in any way with Enki or other space repetition software? Maybe Katie can talk about our attempts that went into this direction, but I can also take it. Yeah, we experimented with a feature where it was possible to save a message that you received or even words from a message to your own collection, bit like Enki, and then supposed to also practice them with spaced repetition, but this feature wasn't received super well. It was only used by like super hardcore language learners. So we kind of put it on the like froze it for now, but hopefully get back to developing more features like this, because AI can also be super helpful with this. Just imagine AI helping you to organize your collection of expressions and create images based on them, and all of these things that when you use classical Enki, you still have to do yourself. Would it be normal if someone fell in love with an AI chatbot? There's nothing wrong with that, right? Asking for my friend. Is this coming from the same person again? Anyone wants to take this? No, I think. Will Tandem stay in the digital space or try to grow into real-life activities? Maybe Michelle, you want to take it?
Apart from the online solution and online community, sometimes we also organize the meetup for Tandem user offline. But in the future, for the most of our activities, we'll mainly stay online as a digital product and solution for the language exchange.
But if you feel like you want to organize something in your city, actually, you can still approach us after the talk and we can talk about it.
Then the next question, is there anything interesting in the way the use of the app evolved since the start of Tandem, like people having more context but more superficial? Not really. These trends are surprisingly stable, and sometimes we try to move them, of course. We try to have people more connections and stay in their conversations longer, but there seems some kind of gravitational force even sometimes. So yeah, we make some progress there, but it's nothing groundbreaking that would blow your mind that we've experienced. Tandem exists for 10 years now, and these kind of trends or these kind of dynamics are surprisingly stable. What do you see as your main competition in the language learning market? If you look for Tandem on the App Store, you will find our direct competition immediately. There are a couple of apps who do something very similarly. There are also lots of language learning apps that we consider very complementary, that might teach you something but not connect you to other people. We have only 2 languages for party. Can we have more? That's a good question. Yeah, we can consider that. This is a very typical Polyglot gathering question.
Actually, it's also about the practical part behind it. So if the party host can steer the conversation in more than 2 languages, then we're happy to try it out. But from my experience, I can tell often already 2 languages are not that easy, because you indicate those 2 languages on the what we call party card. So before you even enter the party, you can already see it's in those 2 languages. And then the host has to kind of manage those 2 languages. So somebody who does only speak one of of those still understands what it's all about. So just imagine with 3 or more languages, it will be a big job for the host.
Oh, the next one. I'm not going to read out loud. I'm going to blush. So I'm going to jump into the next one. Yeah, thank you. Is there any plan to add a feature to save or star explanations for quick access? Yeah, that's actually a good suggestion, something we should consider. Yeah, I mean, when you go back to your chats, your explanations are also saved. You will find them back. They're not gonna be deleted or anything, but for quick access, that's a great idea. Can Inspire be brought to the parties feature to guide a group conversation? Yeah, that was behind this idea of AI facilitating a conversation. That's exactly what we had in mind, to bring these inspirations or topic suggestions also to parties. Maybe a business idea for you, okay. What about using AI to create a group of 3, connecting to people, introducing them to each other, using AI as a matchmaker? Yeah, that's also this idea that we try to picture of AI helping to prepare two people for a language exchange and then facilitate it in such a group format. Do you think you're better than Hello Talk? Haha. I think the haha actually answers the question, so I don't have to go deep into this. Are there any options to use cameras during conversations? I'd like to show others how beauty I am speaking Esperanto. Yeah, you can. We also offer video chat. In one-on-one, you can use video chat on Tandem. It's also a pro feature, so you need a subscription, but you can use it. How do we know that you aren't AI? Okay. I cannot. I'm not supposed to talk about it. How to keep the balance between human first thought app originally, given the AI could diverge from human contact to interaction with AI? Anyone has some? Yeah.
Yeah, even though you can see we developed quite a few AI features recently, but we also take into our consideration how we want to replace the human connection with AI by the way we design the features. Because we don't just give the user the fish, but we guide them how to fish. Like for example, with grammar check, we don't just correct the mistake, but we give user the knowledge of the grammar rule behind. So you can learn from it, and it's become your knowledge, and you will not be fully dependent on AI. And even though for Inspire feature or rewrite feature, it's so use some suggestion, but it's all about the user decision to evaluate, to read the suggestion, and make your own decision. And if you decide to use any of the suggestion from AI, it's your choice. So it's still human at the core a bit. So we believe AI is just supporting and assisting human and help you to overcome the friction of the language exchange, but not replacing.
Yeah, and maybe the last question. I just signed up for a new account here, and how many days do I need to wait to proceed? So unlike Hello Talk, we check every profile before you become a member of the community. And it can take something between 10 minutes and maybe 2 days, depending on if your profile needs to be checked by humans as well. If you don't hear back, like let's say in 24 hours, please contact our support@tandem.net if you haven't found your way into the community yet. All right, thank you very much.